All right. So we're going to discuss tonight building your GetFit mining business where health and wealth go hand in hand. The bottom line is the more you move, the more you earn. Your health is your wealth, and your daily activity is an income stream. Building a GetFit business has many benefits. The PoPA, which stands for Proof of Physical Activity, is generating you tokens. The GFAM token, GetFit, Vroom, and then other project tokens as well. Getting started with GetFit Mining, you need a smartphone. A fitness tracker is optional, however, you get better results. You will need Google Fit if you use an Android, Apple Health if you use an iOS. And then, of course, you're going to need your GetFit miners. You're going to need to unlock mining dock slots. And then you're going to want to make sure that you've funded your internal wallet for blockchain fees when you are submitting your physical activity and when you're claiming your tokens. We have 4 levels of miners. We have our primary that mines at 100%. And when we're not running a promo, those are $99 each. Our ultras have 125% mining power, and they sell for $199. Our alphas have 175% mining power, and they sell for $499, sorry. And then our omegas have the 300% mining power, and they sell for $899. Our application is completely decentralized. It's managed with smart contracts, and it is completely on-chain. Your proof of physical activity generates a hash. The hash is recorded to the blockchain, and that validates your token rewards. There's multiple ways to earn with GetFit Mining. One is the commissions that you earn when you mint and craft your miners. 2 is the mining. The more you move, the more you're mining, the more tokens you're gaining. Creating challenges, creating events, joining events, leasing your miners, and then staking your tokens for the USDT rewards. Again, all managed by smart contracts. When you mint and craft your miners, you earn direct sales commissions of 25%. It then pays an additional 10 levels. Level 1 pays 5%, level 2, 4%, level 3, 3%, level 4, 3%, level 5, 2%, level 6, 2%, level 7, 3%, level 8 is 5%, level 9 is 5%, and then level 10 is 8%. The reason we've structured this the way we have with the percentages on the levels is if you're not a builder, you can normally get your direct sales level 2, 3, and 4. 5 and 6 and 7 are generally what would be considered breakage, and most of that goes back to the project. And then level 8, 9, and 10, if you're a builder, you will reach those levels, and so we've increased the percentages at the bottom. This way, it's top heavy for your non-builders, and it's top heavy, bottom heavy for your builders, and then what would be considered breakage that would not, generally would stay with the project, we've lowered that. Everything, again, is all managed by smart contracts. 20% of the GFAM or the GetFit tokens that are used to mint the miners is returned back to the vault, which I'll be explaining here in a minute. I'm going to share with you the commissions on the full price of the miners. So if we were not running a promotion right now and a person was minting the 12 miners that would be required, you need 12 primary miners that are upgraded through the evolution process that are then evolved and merged to the Omega. It would take 12 of those primaries. And we are doing this based on if you share this with 2 people who duplicate. And that would mean that on your direct sales, you would have received $300 commission on the 2 people that you shared GetFit Mining with who purchased the miners. And then on the first level, it's paying 5%. You're getting $60 on every sale that whoever you shared GetFit Mining with is selling. And then on that third level, or actually that's your second level 2, it's $48 per sale. So if you can build a team of 14 people, you've made your money back. And I always tell everybody, when you're building, best thing to do, set everybody up. Go get your two, get your two, get your two. Once you have that team of 14, everybody pays, and you can make your money back in the same day, within a half an hour of people signing up. So it's a very quick way to do it. I used to build this way years ago, and it is a very quick way. It's organized, and you can make things happen really, really fast. Whenever I'm doing something, I always want to know, how do I get my money back the fastest? And so you can build a very small team, and you can have your money back. Now, this is on the full price minting of the miners. This has got anything to do with our promotion that we're currently running. The more you move, the more you mine. Now, we have a max amount of physical activity that you can do in a 24-hour period. Steps, it's 20,000 steps. Okay, so if you do more than 20,000 steps, what happens is the tier bonuses kick in. So you can see here on this graph, there's 4 different colors. The first tier, it pays 5% bonus on your steps. The second tier pays 10% bonus. The third tier pays 20% bonus. And then the fourth tier pays a 30% bonus. So if you had gotten 20,000 steps today, and the majority of those were in the fourth tier, you would get an additional 6,000 steps. So basically your mining would have rewarded you on 26,000 steps. So you can increase the amount of mining that you do based on the intensity or the number of steps that you've walked. Next is distance, and we've capped that at 10 miles. And if you do 20,000 steps, you should be able to get that 10 miles in. And so you would want to make sure when you're doing your walk outside that you set your workout. And then when you set your workout, it's a 2-hour max. And with that 2-hour workout, if you've set that workout timer, you should be able to pick up that 10-mile distance with those 20,000 steps. And you don't have to do this all at once. I like to break mine down into 5 and 10-minute intervals each day, or I wouldn't be able to get it in. And even if it just means I have to get up from my desk, from being on the computer, and run in place, I'll set my workout for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll get that workout in, it gets my steps in, and it's tracking my distance at the same time. You also can earn mining rewards on up to 4,000 calories burned, and it does include your active and your basal. So your resting calories are counted as well in your mining, and then your sleep, 8 hours is the max that you can mine for sleep. Anything over 8 hours is generally not healthy, and everybody's body is different. I used to be able to make it on 4 hours a night of sleep all day long and be very, I could get a ton of work done. But anymore, 4 hours of sleep, and then I'm dragging, and then 2-3 days later I got to catch up, and I end up with 12 or 13 hours of sleep. And that anything over that 8 hours I wouldn't be able to mine. So the 8 hours is the max on the sleep. But again, it's all managed by smart contracts. I'm going to show you a spreadsheet here, and these values below, they're only estimates, and they're based on the current mining difficulty as of April 9th, which I believe is today or yesterday. Your proof of physical activity and the total global mining submissions will determine the final amount of tokens that you'll mine and be rewarded at the end of the day. So once all submissions are recorded to the blockchain, then the tokens are distributed, and then they become available to claim. So if a person is mining with 6 primaries, right now today with today's mining difficulty, if you were maxing out your steps, you should be able to mine somewhere near 600 GFAM per day. If you're mining with 6 ultra miners, you should be able to mine about 750 of the GFAM tokens. And then if you're mining with 6 alphas, 1,050. And then if you're mining with the 6 omegas, that's generally going to mine anywhere between 1,000 and 1,200 GFAM per day, depending on all of the activity submissions that have been recorded for that period, for that time frame. And again, it's all managed by smart contracts. Now, I showed you the max. So if you're doing half of that, just divide those numbers in half. If you're doing a quarter of that, then divide those numbers by, 4, and then you can break it down. You kind of have an idea. Now, we're going to go over the startup costs, which are based on the full price miners. Okay, so assuming that each purchase will be based on evolving and upgrading from 2 primary miners to 1 Omega miner at the minimum price for the 12 primary miners to get to the 6 Omegas. So ignore the promo that we have right now. This is when the promo is over. What would it cost for a person to get started who wanted 6 Omegas? They would have to start with 12 primary miners. Okay, if they want 1 Omega, they would need 2 primaries. So that's where the startup costs for the minting and the crafting of the miners would start at $200 and could be as much as $1,200 if they're going to do the 6 Omegas. If they do 6 Omegas, they need 12 primaries. The evolution upgrading is going to cost between $400 and $2,400. If they're going to go and do 1 Omega, it's going to be $400 to do the purchase, the evolution, and the upgrade to that Omega, up to the $2,400. Unlocking the mining dock slots. The first slot's free, and then the other additional 5 slots are going to cost between $100 and $125, depending on B&B. We are only about 700 miners away from opening up dock slot 7, and that will take GFAM. And then to submit your proof of physical activity, if you're mining with 1 primary, it's going to cost you about $5 a month to submit. If you're mining with 6 Omegas, you're going to spend between $25 and $28 a month to submit that physical activity. This here is going to break down and give you an idea of what you could be earning every day on that physical activity. If you're mining with 6 primaries and you're maxing out the amount of mining that you can do per day. I do everything at the max on the mining because you can break it down according to what your workouts are. It's a lot easier to go backwards than it is to try to increase it. So with a primary, mining with 6 of those, at today's current market value, you're making about $3.60 a day. So you're in profit. It's still more than what it is costing you to submit that proof of physical activity. And so when you're looking at this, if you're mining with those 6 primaries, you want to think down the road future. The market value of those tokens, as it increases, so does the profit that you have made. If you, once the GFAM reaches a penny, you've now gone from $3.60 a day to $6 a day. When it reaches 10 cents, instead of making $3.60 a day, you're now making $60 a day. And when it reaches 25 cents, you're now making $150 a day. You can look down at the Omegas. It's 720. It's basically double of what you'd make with the primary miners. So when it reaches the 25 cents, you're roughly making about $300 a day on your physical activity. Now, when you get to a point where you're making even $12 a day, even $120 a day, those are life-changing amounts for a lot of people. Again, we're going to talk about the value of the tokens. I like to look at these numbers because it lets me kind of see, what's the goal? How fast can we get that market value up and stabilize that liquidity, and what do we need to do? So at 50 cents, a primary would be making approximately $9,000 a month, and Omega about $18,000 a month. Seems insane, doesn't it? But when you have a self-funding ecosystem, I'm going to show you how possible it actually is. And at 75 cents, a primary is making, about $450 a day. Omega is about $900. Now it just gets even crazier where at $1, you're looking at making $600 a day to $1,200 a day, $5, $3,000 a day to $6,000 a day. So it gets even, more exciting when you start seeing those prices. Now, it doesn't take a lot of people to get us to these market values with the system that we have in place. When we're going over the things you can do to make the money right now in GetFit, which we're going to take 3 and 4, which is creating and joining those challenges and the events. The challenges and the events are all managed by smart contracts. So once the challenge Once the creator has created this challenge and has finalized the terms of the challenge, the smart contract manages all the terms that were set forth, meaning you as a member of the GetFit Mining community, you're mining, you can create a challenge. You can create an event. You can charge an entry fee. You can award prizes. You can donate to charity, and you can profit from these challenges. You are charging an entry fee, you're awarding prizes, and there could be marketing expenses, different things involved. This is also part of your mining business. And so you are able to create these challenges and profit from them while people are winning based on the award prizes that you've set forth in that contract. Again, all managed by smart contracts. 40% of the in-app fee to create the challenge is provided to liquidity, and then 10% of the in-app fee to create challenges also is provided to the staking rewards. So you have to remember, every single thing that a person does inside our app is providing liquidity and is providing staking rewards. 5 is leasing your miners. This is your digital real estate. So the miners that you're not mining with personally in your own mining dock, you can stake them in the global dock, and anyone can lease your miners with their proof of physical activity. So they're not paying you to use your miner, but they're leasing it from you with that use of their physical activity. So their physical activity is what becomes payment basically to you. So you stake your miners to the global leasing dock. You set the mining percentage that you're willing to share with the person who's providing that physical activity. The leasee, or the person who is doing that proof of physical activity, they submit their activity, and then the smart contract will distribute the claimed rewards to both the person who provided the physical activity, the leasee, and then the lessor who owns the NFT, and that's how you receive those rewards. 40% of the in-app fee to lease your miners provides liquidity, 10% pays the staking rewards. Now, the 6th way is our token staking. If you're not mining in our GetFit Mining community, you are not eligible to stake GFAM to earn token rewards. So you have to be an active user. You have to contribute to the ecosystem in order to earn the staking rewards. Our staking platform is completely different than any other staking platform that you've seen. 10% of all in-app transactions are rewarded to the stakers. And we do not reward the GFAM token. So when you stake the GFAM, first thing that's different is it's based on the market value. It's not based on the number of tokens that you've staked. So if GFAM is worth $1 and you staked 1,000 GFAM, that means the market value of your GFAM is $1,000. Okay. Now, if you are mining with one primary, you're going to get 1.39% in USDT rewards based on that $1,000. If you're mining with 6 Omegas, that's 1,800% mining power, you're going to be earning 25% rewards in USDT, $250. So it's the difference of, $2 or $3 in rewards to the 250 in rewards. So the mining power that you're mining with plays a crucial role in the staking rewards that you'll receive. So if you're mining, and that is simply because it's based on your contribution to the ecosystem. The more you contribute to the ecosystem, the more you earn in staking rewards. If you're providing, or contributing a lower amount to the ecosystem, then you earn a lower amount in the rewards. We do not lock up your GFAM for a specific amount of time, meaning if your rewards, let's say you're earning $250 in USDT, you staked your GFAM today. Let's say in 7 days you earned those rewards, that contract would unlock, and then you can restake them. If the GFAM is increased in value, the second round of your staking would pay you a higher reward in the USDT. We do not reward in the native token because all that does is dilute the tokens by adding more into circulation, and it just devalues that token. So you're rewarded in the USDT, and then you can go purchase more GFAM if you want, or you can cash out your USDT and it doesn't have an effect on the market value of the token. Our self-sustaining ecosystem consists of the evolution and the upgrading of your miners, submitting your proof of physical activity, claiming your mining rewards, unlocking your mining dock slots, staking the native tokens, and then buying, selling, and swapping on the marketplace and any other in-app features that we add down the road. The staking of the native tokens, the reason that complements the ecosystem or contributes to it is because those tokens that are staked are not a threat of being sold. I don't like the word threat, but you know that if they're staking them, they're holders. They're not selling those tokens. For the self-sustaining ecosystem, in our project, this is very unique to us. I honestly have searched and searched and searched for a crypto project that actually has a self-sustaining ecosystem, and I can't find one. But for a crypto project to succeed and to be resilient in the face of market fluctuations, it has to develop a self-sustaining ecosystem. And it involves having a robust business model, intrinsic token utility, a sustainable community incentives beyond just the mere speculation of what the token value or the project value will have. Projects that fail to establish these foundations are more likely to experience the volatility, and potentially they'll collapse once that bubble bursts or that initial funding runs out from like their pre-sales and whatnot. GetFit tokens are mined. No pre-sale, no investors or seed money. Projects that depend heavily on your token pre-sales, they require significant initial capital to start and sustain their operations. So that model creates very unstable financial structures where the project's continuation is heavily dependent on finding new investors rather than generating real value, which is why we took the 2.5 years to develop our project, make sure that what we were building, what we said we could build, that we actually did build. We are built around that self-sustaining ecosystem. Without it, the price of your tokens are often driven purely by speculation rather than underlying economic activity. This also leads to bubbles that burst when there is no new capital entering the ecosystem or when early investors start cashing out. This is why we didn't want to do any of the investors, the seed money, and trust me, they were knocking on the door and they wanted to be here. We didn't want to use that. And it also creates an imbalance in the liquidity pools. When you rely on the community supplied liquidity pools solely, it's extremely risky, especially during the market downturns. If investors start withdrawing their liquidity in mass due to falling prices, or they've lost confidence in the project, it can lead to liquidity crisis, and that makes it difficult for holders to sell their tokens without incurring massive losses. And so our self-sustaining ecosystem is also managed by smart contracts. The evolution is all about that supply and demand. When you mint and craft those primary miners using GFAM, commissions are earned. When you evolve and upgrade those miners using the USDT, 90% of that is supplying liquidity. 10% goes to the staking rewards. So if one person goes to the exchange and buys $1,200 of GFAM, they come back and they mint and they craft those 12 primary miners, 65% is earned in commissions. So you have to assume that 11 people are going to go and sell their earned commissions. So one person then goes and evolves those 12 primary miners. Okay, that's going to cost $2,400 in USDT. So the 12 primaries are evolved or have been upgraded to those 6 Omega miners. Now the evolution contract is holding $2,400 in USDT. The evolution will need to buy $1,200 in GFAM so that it can pair it to the USDT so it can inject that liquidity. So if you can see how this works, you have a person who went and purchased it on the exchange. Then you have 12 people that went and sold $780 worth of commissions. They go and evolve their miners, so the evolution contract basically corrects that market and drives the price up higher than what it was. And then it turns around and injects $2,400 more in liquidity. So you can see here in this graph, this is the actual evolution contract in work. Okay, it's actually working right here. prior to us running our promotions. And you can see where the large green candlesticks are. These are evolution buys. But you can also see that when the market is selling, the evolution contract is not buying. It's not going to drive the market value up during a market selling, the market sell down. But once it's stopped, then the evolution contract will go and buy up that GFAM that it needs so it can pair it to the USDT that it still has, and it can inject that liquidity to stabilize the market value. And then you'll see here again, you can see that sell off, and the evolution contract will stop. It won't buy during those sell periods. But then once those sell periods are over, it will go in and it will readjust the market value. It will buy up the GFAM that it needs to pair to the USDT that has come in from the evolution or the upgrading of those miners, and it will recorrect that market value. It'll inject liquidity and it'll stabilize that price. It's not predictable. Okay, the evolution is not going to buy GFAM during that sell-off period, and it will correct the market value after a sell-off, and it will inject liquidity to stabilize the pool and the market value. So you have to understand it's not just about driving up the price of the GFAM, but it's about stabilizing and injecting liquidity at those price points where the selling would take place so that it doesn't have that major price fluctuation. If you go to the pool right now, there is nothing there for liquidity. That is not, so you're seeing these major, drop from 6 cents up to 8 cents, 6 to 8, 6 to 8. But there's less than a million GFAM token in that pool right now, so that has an effect on it. The evolution provides 90% to liquidity, 10% to staking. The submission fees, anywhere from 20% to 100%. What do I mean by that? If the evolution is low, the smart contract will know that it needs to hold back more of those submission fees for the evolution for the evolution and the liquidity. So it wouldn't. So any given time, it could be 20%, it could be up to 100% on those submission fees. Same with the claim fees, 20 to 100% to liquidity. Doc slot fees, same thing, 20% to 100%. So you've got multiple things that are taking place within this ecosystem that are supplying this liquidity. The staking of the tokens, that just means those tokens are not in circulation. Those are tokens that are not going to the market to sell them. The 20 challenges and events, again, 20 to 100% goes to liquidity. Marketplace, 20% up to 100% goes to liquidity. And then future features, it's the same thing. So the minimum liquidity is 20%. But if the need arises to stabilize that market, it could use up to 100%. And again, all managed by smart contracts. The promotion that we're running right now has tiers. Right now, we are all about building the community, letting people test the waters without what do I want to say? Some people, you don't trust the crypto space, and honestly, who would? There's been so many projects that fail. When 99% of your projects fail, it's kind of like, oh boy, But I've been in the space long enough. We've developed and designed this project to last for a very long time, well beyond my life. That self-sustaining ecosystem is extremely important. Every single project should do this, and they don't. But we want people to come in and be able to experience the application and be able to start out with those Omega miners. And so we're not going into our full price system until June 9th. So this week, it will end on Sunday. You can get 6 Omega miners. That's 1,800% mining power once it's docked for $400. Every single Sunday up until June 9th, the price is going to increase. It's going to go up from 400 to 500, 500 to 600, 800 to 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, then we'll go into our full price of $3,600. The first liquidity injection will happen on May 4th. The second liquidity injection will take place on June 9th. 65% from the promotion prices are paid out in referral commissions. 80% of the mining dock fees are going to liquidity. So you've got 35% from the sales that is going to liquidity. You've got 80% of the mining dock fees that are going towards liquidity. So the more active the community is in sharing GetFit Mining, sharing these promotional prices, the more liquidity that will be there, the more powerful. We will kick off our grand launch on June 9th. So in addition to the promo prices that we're talking about here, you're going to want to make sure that you have the B&B to unlock those 5 dock slots. That's right around $125. Plus you want to make sure you have funded that internal wallet so you can begin to submit your proof of physical activity. We also have the promotion on the primary miners. This week on Sunday they'll move up to 200, and then every week they'll increase by $50 until we roll into the full price, $100 per miner, $99 per miner on June 9th. Again, all managed by smart contracts. So if you are a networker and you are helping us to build a community and to share these promotions, if you go back to your promo page, connect your wallet, you can claim your commissions right there on that page. They pay out in real time. Again, all managed by smart contracts. The next thing we're going to talk about are the promotion commissions. So because we're at the $400 package, I always tell everybody, you want to figure out the fastest way you can get and earn that money back that you spent, so that you are, I always like to get my money back day one, day two. Back in the day when I was building and I was on top of my game that way, wasn't building a project like this. Hold on, guys. I have to stop this because somebody's asking to record. I'm already recording, and this is in the middle of my screen. I don't know did you get that, Marnita? Are you able to deny that or allow it? Or am I the only one who sees it? That's all right. I have to stop my presentation to do this. Oh, hang on. I don't even know if I can. Oh my gosh. This happened to me last time too. I can't even stop the presentation. Yeah, I had to stop it to start over, which that's okay. I need to hide this anyway. And then I'll just have to go in and all right, starting all over again. Sorry guys. I wish Zoom would fix that, because they make it so that you cannot use your mouse to like allow or anything like that. It's so annoying because then I have to stop the entire presentation to do this. So let's get back here to this. Okay, promo commissions. This is based on the promo prices. And what I was saying, if I go, we lost that whole page. Oh well. You guys got to stop this again. In the future, I'm just going to say, guys, please don't interrupt the recording or interrupt me when I'm doing my presentation, because I lose my train of thought and now nothing's working for me. I'm going to be so lost. I am not a good person to take off my train of thought. I really want to be on this page here. Okay. All right. Starting with the $400 promo. I was saying that I always like to teach people how to get your money back as soon as possible, because you never want somebody who feels like they're not making money, even though this is an extremely powerful project and you should be able to make crazy money here, if not today, if not in a month, but definitely in the future. It's always good to not be out of pocket for very long. So again, if you build a small team of 14, you would have your money back at that $400 promo price, and that would just be working with a small team, 2 who go and get their 2, who get their 2, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, a team of 14. And you will have received that $428, which you had used to spend to buy your promo package. And then if you build in a team of 30, which is that bottom row of 16, now you've not only covered your 6 omegas, but you've covered your mining dock, and you've covered your mining fees at least for the first couple of months. And so you are really good to go at this point, and everything from that day forward is just pure profit to you. And that's whenever you get involved in a business, you should always try to see what is the fastest way that I can be in profit, and what am I got to do to get there. When you are, when we move up to the $500 promo price, if you follow the 2 get 2 get 2, you are looking at, if you build a team of 4,092, that for builders, that's not a big team. Okay, For your non-builders, it might be focus on your first couple of levels and don't be discouraged. I mean, down the road here in the next couple of months, what you're building into your team is going to also reward you in some matching mining bonuses that your team is submitting every single day, which we'll have more details on that in the next few weeks. So you can earn on just the promotion 6 figures by building a team of 4,092. When we roll up to the $600 tier, of course, the commissions increase the amount that you're earning. Again, everything's managed by smart contracts, pays in real time, and obviously, the more expensive the each tier, they get more expensive. Your commissions become higher. So those of you who like to build, this is a unilevel kind of a build. It's all straight line. The wider you build, the more money you'll be making. And so even make it a goal for builders, 2 at each tier, and build in that team of 16. From there, it kind of takes on its own build, especially if you can get down to that 3rd level or that 4th level. It kind of starts to grow organically after that anyway. And then, of course, the 1,500, the 2,000. You can see that at the $2,000 price, if you built in your team of 4,000 people, you would be earning $500,000 in commissions. And this is just the promo prices. So you know that when we get into our full prices, the commissions are much higher. And then here, even at the highest level, the $3,000 tier, building that team of 4,092, you've reached about $750,000 in commissions. Now, May 2024, we have our challenges and events that we will be starting. And then in June, the leasing and the marketplace is due to be released. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the tokenomics of GetFit for those of you that are wanting to hear how this works. The max supply of GFAM is 3 billion tokens. Total with the project right now is 2,640,279,732 GFAM. The total that is circulating is 359,720,268. We have a daily distribution through the airdrop of 274,000 tokens. This is the amount of tokens that will be distributed every single day for the next 30 years and beyond. Now, what I'm showing you here on this spreadsheet, this little table, is 3,000 users who come in and mint at the full price. Okay, we're not talking about the promotion price. They want 12 primary miners because they want to have those 6 omega miners through the evolution process. That would be a total of 36,000 miners. Okay, that would pay out 332,186,400 GFAM. Now you have to look at these numbers. There's only 359 million in circulation, but 3,000 people who come to GetFit Mining and need 12 primaries to get to 6 omegas would need to go to the exchange and buy 332 million GFAM. There's only 359 million circulating. So, right there what that tells you. We would need the community to sell all of their GFAM. Now, the vault is going to get 20% of those commissions. So 332 is what's paid out in commissions. The vault is going to take 102 million, or once this happens, the master contract gets the other 35%. Okay, and 20% of that goes back to the vault. Now I'm going to explain to you what this means. Okay. Oh, here's what I'm showing you here. The GFAM buys. Right now, at today's price, it takes 14,196 GFAM to mint 1 primary miner. So in total, for 3,000 people to mint, they would have to buy $3 million $3,600,000 worth of GFAM on the exchange. That is 511 million GFAM. We don't have that many in circulation. So that means that people have to sell. That's driving that market price up, 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 up. They're going to come off that GFAM. Trust me. People cannot help themselves. It starts reaching a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies. They're going to start selling. It's just human. That's what we do. It's just our nature. And so they will sell. but it'll keep driving up that price. It's going to keep driving it up because we're going to need more than what's available. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to keep it that way. Okay. And this, hopefully this next slide will show us this. Okay. The 2.5 billion GFAM are going to be locked in a time machine on June 9th. Okay, so right now, if you remember back in the previous screen, we have 2.6 billion that are sitting there in the vault. 2.64 billion. 2.5 billion are going to be locked in a time machine. That's going to leave 140,279,732 GFAM in the GetFit vault. On July 24th of 2024, the time machine would actually release 100 million GFAM into the airdrop engine. However, we are holding 160 million in that vault. So we're good for July 24th's airdrop. We don't have to take from that 2.5 billion supply. Now, you guys have always heard other projects that talk about burning, right? The burning of the tokens. You never want to burn tokens until the liquidity is sufficient. Why? Because when you burn tokens, all you're doing is driving up the market value for the people who are holding and are going to sell. Okay, so they're going to get an inflated value, but if the liquidity isn't there to substantiate that, then you should never burn those tokens. You've got to have a very stable liquidity pool before you start burning. So we're kind of replacing the burn for now by replacing those tokens to the vault. So when I told you, when people are buying these tokens, that 340 million GFAM, now we got 10,000 users. Okay, before it was 3,000, remember? Now we're talking about 10,000 people who are buying 12 primary miners to upgrade them. And you're seeing that the GFAM is increasing. Now it's going to take 1,703,520,000 GFAM. We don't have that in circulation. We only have the 300 million. So how many times you take that 1.7 billion, divide it by 300 million, that's how many times the community has got to sell all of those tokens. That's driving that market value up. Remember, supply and demand is the that's the major equation here with liquidity pools and with these projects. You have to have the demand. And you don't want to have, the supply be higher than what the demand is. And so with the way we operate with the ecosystem and using the GFAM for the minting of those miners, the master wallet takes 20% from the minting and puts it back in the vault. The goal is to always have 100 million in that vault by July 24th. As long as there's 100 million in that vault, that time machine will not release 100 million to the airdrop. So the longer we can keep that at 2.5 billion, the higher the market value of the GFAM tokens. So basically what the project is doing is it's taking its profit and it's putting it back in the vault to stabilize the market value of the token, to keep the supply of the token lower and the demand higher. And so it's always replenishing that vault to make sure that it doesn't have to take from the time machine. So once that 100 million, okay, you see in the vault, there's 140 million that will remain once that 2.5 billion goes into the time machine. July 24th, it will take 100 million from the vault, not the 2.5 billion, which is where it's supposed to come from. Remaining in the vault for July 24 of 2025 is 40 million. We are only 59,720,000 GFAM short, and we still have a year and a half to be able to collect those GFAM from people minting those miners and putting them back in the vault. So I guarantee you that by July 24th of next year, not only will we have the amount of GFAM in the vault for that year's distribution, but we will probably already have the following years in there for that distribution. So the goal is to not have that time machine release that 100 million GFAM for as long as possible. So hopefully that's making sense to everybody what I'm talking about in this part. Now the tokenomics that we're going to talk about is the one user who comes in, just so you guys get an idea. One user who comes in and mints those 12 primary miners. That is going to require 14,196 GFAM per primary. Okay, that is 120,000. Where are we at? 20. Okay, that's a 10,000. Da, 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 da. I gotta look at my numbers here. That's 1,703,000,000 GFAM. That's 65% commission. Do you see how many GFAM that has to pay out? Can you guys see what's happening here? This is demanding the holders to sell. Can you see that with 10,000 users, 14,196 GFAM per miner? And that will decrease. Okay, listen, as the price of GFAM goes up, the amount of GFAM that it takes drops. Okay, so this is just based on today's values. If we had 10,000 people come in right now today, it would be insane. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that the demand for the GFAM is higher than the supply. It's going to demand the users or the holders in the community to sell their GFAM. It's in this right now when they're selling it, this is great. Like, it excites me when I see people sell their GFAM. I'm like, yay, yay. Why? Because the Evolution contract has USDT and it can buy that GFAM at the lowest prices possible so that when it comes time to inject that liquidity on May 4th and June 9th, it's got a very hefty little bag of tokens there that it can inject with, use to inject that liquidity for. So never get discouraged when you see people selling their GFAM tokens, because you guys have to understand, we've got a self-sustaining ecosystem. It's always got the ability to do a market correction and drive that market value up. And we don't have enough tokens in supply, in circulation, for the demand that is going to be here. We're growing actually very quickly. I'm very excited about our growth and how fast we're growing, and it's only going to get crazier. So you guys are going to start to see some really crazy stuff go on. You can see here tokens returned per 120,000 miners. Okay, what this means is that if 10,000 people come in today, minted 12 primary miners, that would be 120,000 primary miners that would be in circulation waiting to upgrade. Of that amount of tokens that had to be purchased on the exchange, that's 1,700,000,000. No, that's not even more than that. 703,520,000. Yeah, 1,703,000. You guys do the math. There's only 359,000 350 million in circulation. Divide that into that 1 billion. How many times they have to sell? The project itself, with 10,000 people coming in to mint those 12 miners, is going to have 340,704,000 GFAM sitting in a vault. There's only 350 million right now in circulation. Now remember, this price is going to go down the amount of GFAM it takes. So these numbers are high right now, but you're getting the idea of what is happening here. So 10,000 users who mint those 12 primary miners will return enough GFAM to the vault for the next 5 years of mining without the need for the time machine to release 100 million for the next 5 years. Do you see where I'm going with this? What this is doing for the project? It's very massive. It's in a big way. All right, now we're going to talk about the liquidity. And this, you guys, this is all based on numbers. Okay, I cannot tell you what the community is going to do selling wise, but as you can already see, as long as we're growing and as long as the demand is here, it doesn't matter what the community does. We want them to sell. We will have to have them sell. The market will demand them to sell, and they will. 10,000 users who minted 12 primary miners, okay, and then evolved them. That is a total of $48 million that goes to liquidity. Okay, that's huge. Half of that is used to drive up the market value, and then it brings it back and it pairs it and adds it as liquidity. When you are, I gotta hide this thing. I can't see my screen here. Hold on. Let me hide these controls. Okay, the submission, okay, at the, this is at the 50%. I wanted to go middle of the road because it can do anywhere from 20 to 100%. 10,000 people who are submitting. Now, does it always need new people coming in? No, it doesn't. See, every single person who's using the app, they submit every day. They claim. They unlock the mining deck. They create challenges. They join challenges. They create events. They join events. Okay, they lease out their miners. This is all in-app activity. Okay, this is community activity, and all of this money is supplying that liquidity. If nobody ever came in to GetFit, let's say we had 100,000 users, you still have 100,000 users who are submitting every day. 10,000 users, that's $12,000 a day going into liquidity. Times that by 10 if you had 100,000 users. And that's with nobody ever coming in to mint a miner again. It's just the community using the GetFit Mining app, submitting, claiming, challenges, events, leasing, just those types of activities is always providing liquidity. As long as you're active in the app and as long as you are using the application, the market is being driven up. The market value of the token, the liquidity is going up. So, altogether, from the minting, the evolution, the submissions, the claims, and the mining doc, just those. Okay, we aren't even talking challenges, events. We're not talking about leasing. We're not talking about the marketplace. We're not talking about the gamification. We're not talking about the arenas. We're not talking about the Hall of Fame. We're only talking about minting, evolution, submission, claims, and mining doc. Just those five. That in and of itself, with 10,000 users coming in, minting those 12 primaries, you're looking at $54,420,000 in the liquidity pool per year. Okay, just on those five. And that is at low percentages. That's 50% of submission claims, 40% of the mining doc. That's not including new people coming in. That's not and they will, trust me. They'll keep coming because the app works. It's an amazing application. People are getting better, physically fit. They're losing weight. They're feeling better. They love it. I mean, I love it. I'm addicted to it myself, but our retention rate is very high. We, at this level right here, GFAM has a possibility of being at $16.88 to $20.20. Now, remember, you guys, this isn't this is going to be bigger than just 10,000 people. Okay, this will be 50,000 people, 100,000 people, to a million people, to 2 million people. GFAM, GetFit tokens, they have the ability to reach Ethereum and Bitcoin levels. And I don't think that's arrogant to say. We have a self-sustaining ecosystem. And it's providing, just on 10,000 people, $66,420,000 in liquidity. That's the reason that it's 54 million on this screen, but on the screen before there was some other avenues where that liquidity was coming in at. So it was a total, I think it was another 12 million in something. But anyway, it's 66 million. Now you take the utility of the token. That's going to take 1,703,520,000 GFAM. In exchange buys, you divide that by what we have circulating. That means the holders would need to sell their tokens 4.7 times. That means they've been bought and sold almost 5 times the entire amount that's in circulation. So when I give you these prices of the $16.88, that's probably on the low end. It literally could be as high as $100 a token. That's what a self-sustaining ecosystem does.